Can't make more speed!
Greetings, Transformers fans. Welcome to the third day of Prey, and today I'm going to be taking a look at my favorite of the 5 Power of the Primes Predacons. He's not perfect. He's not the 86 animated Transformers movie, but he is my favorite. I think he looks the best of all the 5. This review comes courtesy of Michael Choi's Patreon special missions request, and Power of the Primes Predaking is still available at Big Bad Toy Store. The best Transformers from Power of the Primes and Siege and Earthrise, all the other modern lines, the very best ones, almost look like they could be masterpiece level at a fraction of the price. And I think that definitely applies to DIVEBOMB, the Eagle. And I had to double check what he was. For some reason, I didn't realize he was an eagle. I thought maybe he was not a vulture, but some sort of scavenger bird. Same went with Rampage. I wasn't sure he was a tiger since he doesn't really look like a tiger. He's kind of more of a puma look. But DIVEBOMB's official transformation is an eagle. Here he is in robot mode to start out with. And before I get to applying the stickers, which I think he sorely needs, especially based on his wings, I'm going to get the G1 comparison out of the way, because my G1 version, or KO of a G1 version, KO as I said, which is apparent by the looseness, and this is an older KO, not one of the more recent KOs that hold together pretty well and have good plastic quality. This is from some years back, but this KO doesn't have any stickers on them either, so here is a comparison between the two, just taking a look at some of the similarities that carried over from the original version. Biggest one is the yellow chest and yellow chest piece on the newer version. Just like with Rampage, the orange parts of the original one are now kind of more of a reddish, a dull, matte, reddish orange. So I'll get to that in a second. So the orange on the originals is definitely better. Pops a lot more, especially with me being an orange aficionado. And the biggest thing with the original one is he is so back heavy because of the wings, the wing backpack. He keeps falling, and you have to kind of hunch him forward so that he won't fall over. And this DIVEBOMB, with his nice ratcheting joints and ample heel stabilizers back here, he's got no problem with all of the back kibble. Like, look how sturdy that is. That is fantastic. So that's learning from history. Taking a look at some of the other similarities. Stop falling over. Not much similarity in the shoulders. And let's see, he's got the red mid piece right here. You could say the legs are somewhat inspired by the original version, and then certainly the wings definitely inspired by the original version, both front and back. And nice to see a return of all of that. Yellow again, and they even move like the original. Wings could go bend at 2 different places, either right here or here as well. And then on the new one, he just will not stand. On the new one, the wings fold out here. They don't actually have that extra point of articulation right here as the original one had, but they do that, which is part of the Predaking transformation. So there's a rare case of the modern version losing a point of articulation that the original one had. And then the original one had this bunch of tail feathers that could go up and down. You could, depending on how you wanted to do the transformation, have it up there or fold down. And then the new one does not have that tuft of orange feathers, but something similar to it. It looks more like a jetpack booster engine, but it is articulated. So if you If you want to move it a little bit, especially in eagle mode, and you have that option. Alright, let's get him all stickered up before we take a closer look at him. And zoinks! Look at all of these sticker applications here to compare with some of the other ones. A couple for Rampage, very few for Razor Claw, barely any there for Torox or Tantrum, and then Predaking has a couple himself, but yeah, guess I should have packed a lunch. This is going to be a while. So I know the official photos say that these stickers are supposed to go this one here and the inverted one on the other way, but I'm going to put them reversed because I feel like that red triangle should slope up towards the figure. That just kind of seems off to me, so this is a case of not following the official because I personally think this looks better. Wow. Both wow, as in that looks awesome, and wow, that took a long time. Actually had to go and take a bit of a nap after that one because that one is going to take a toll. That was a lot of stickers, but it makes a huge difference. I think it really improves him a lot more than any of the other Predacons. We've got a little bit of sticker application on his knees. It's also always nice to give him a little bit of a shine there. Decepticon symbols everywhere, on his chest, on his wings, some on the back as well. A little bit of gold coloration to break up the yellow there too. But the big one is the wings. There are so many stickers on each individual feather, plus this area right here, and both sides, and then repeat on the other side. That is a lot of stickers, and it really makes the wings pop. So you can tuck them in here out of place. But the great thing about DIVEBOMB, both the original as well as the new one, is that if you want him to appear even more imposing, you can fold the wings out like so and just give him that bigger wingspan. Alright, let's take a look at his articulation. And just a note, when you put these wings in, it's nice that they actually click into place there, so it doesn't feel like they're going to just flop out. They actually clip in there. Articulation. Head can sort of go left and right. It's a little bit impeded by this piece right here, but if you can sort of make him do a 360 if you raise up the head. He can look forward, but it looks weird because his head is actually detaching from the rest of his body. And I guess he can look up too, but again, it looks weird because his face is detaching from his neck. So it's an articulation point that's not really an articulation point. Shoulders are great. He could do a 360 if the wings weren't in the way. In fact, he can. Since the wings are foldable, you can move them out of the way there. And lots of great up and down shoulder movement on him. The elbow bend is fantastic. It's part of the transformation. So he can bend all the way up there. And there is a swivel. He's got swivel arm battle grip as well. The wrists do fold in as part of the transformation, like the other Predacons as well. The wings, in addition to being able to fly out, can also be pushed back. And he does have a waist twist. He's a little bit impeded by himself. You're not going to want to go that far, though. That's an unnatural amount of articulation. So the actual natural amount of twist is not gonna, he's not gonna stop himself from twisting. And I always like to try that Spartan kick with this heel stabilizer back here and all of this backpack kibble. I wonder, well, that's awfully easy, but that's a little bit of cheating going on right there because of the wing that's actually touching the ground. If we actually fold the wings back, look at that. That's very impressive. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. Yeah, he's really stable. You have to give the table quite a jolt in order to knock him off, and that is because of these awesome back heel stabilizers. So when I was transforming him, I was thinking this should be his foot right here, and this should fold in, right? That looks more like a robot foot to me, but the way they've done it actually makes more sense because his eagle feet are now his robot toes, and you're gonna need all of this back stabilizing part because of the huge heavy backpack, which makes him absolutely no problem to stand up with all of that backpack going on back there. This is one of the most stable Transformers I've ever seen with a giant backpack. I get that big backpacks on Transformers backpack kibble can be unsightly for some Transformers fans, but on a guy like this, I love it. I think it looks awesome. It's ferocious looking. It's imposing. It's feral. And as cool as it is in his eagle mode, I think it has the same effect in his robot mode. This giant gleaming set of wings in behind him. It would not be fun if he couldn't stand. That's what takes a lot of the fun out for most Transformers for me when they just can't stand. This guy doesn't have any problem. In fact, he's more liable to have his legs bend out like this, trying to do the splits, which, by the way, he can't do. Almost can. Gets in his way a little bit. But he's more likely to do that, fall over that way, than fall backward, because the balancing is so good here. Knee bend is pretty good. And he's got the ankle pivot. Not as much as the other guys. Not much ankle pivot there. But still enough to stabilize him for most of his poses. And he also does include 2 blasters, no sword, but if you wanted to equip him with the original G1 sword, it doesn't peg all the way in, but like the other Predacons, looks very pretty with him. Very nice. And these 2 blasters that are used in Predaking mode for the shoulder blasters, they fit in his fists like so. You're not going to be able to fit them in like this. He's got Power Master Jinrai itis here, so the arms are going to have to be a little bit straightened in order to hold the guns. And I'm also noticing that the pegs aren't long enough. There's just that much to secure it in. If the pegs were a little bit longer, they'd sit in there a little bit better, but all it takes is a little bit of pressure on the front of the cannon to knock it right out. And by the way, the cannons do separate, and there is a little tab right on the bottom here, so you can't just pop them in any which way. You actually have to fit them in like so. On the back here for the Predaking mode, there's this part right here that actually swivels. So I guess you could do it that way. That's a little bit more secure. I just don't think it looks as good as this way, but it's definitely more secure. And then the original version had holes in his wing tops so that you could fit his guns in there, and unfortunately he doesn't have that here. The holes should be right up here, but nothing there. There's a hole on the side here which you can sort of fit. You can fit one gun in there. But what's strange is that hole is missing on the other side, so you can't have him have both guns there on the front. It's weird that there's only one hole on one side. That's DIVEBOMB in robot mode. Really, really nice rendition. I think that's masterpiece quality right there. Good proportions, powerful looking. The wings are just gorgeous once you get all of the gold stickering on them. Really, really nicely done. So now, let's transform him into his eagle mode. First thing I'm going to do is swing the fists inwards on both sides, and then collapse the arms on both sides all the way in. And then you can move the arms back to tuck into this gap right here. And it's nice that these wings move, makes it a little bit easier to fit, less likely to snap something. If these didn't move at all, yeah, that'd be a little bit more dangerous, but it's nice to have some literal wiggle room there. So those are the arms collapsed. The head is pretty easy to transform. Just like that, you just close the mouth. And unfortunately, you can't open the mouth while he's in eagle mode, because if you do, it looks like he ate a Decepticon. That's one of the drawbacks of the eagle mode. It'd be nice for any animal mode to be able to open up the mouth and have some teeth. The best you can do is just a slight opening like that, so that you can't really see the face inside, or you can just keep it completely shut. So for the feet, you're going to swing the thighs in to the lower part of the leg. So one of these motions right here. And then the same thing On the other side, helps if you put pressure on this part right here. Just push with your finger here while you're grabbing the leg with the rest of your fingers. Just a little bit of a push will release that. And then you can secure that in there, and you can connect the two halves. The slot fits into the hole right there, and same on the front. Connect them together like that. And then his eagle feet remain, his robot feet are just his eagle feet now. And he's got these on the back, which just stay back there too. It feels like this should have maybe collapsed. Usually when you're transforming from robot to a beast mode, the feet do something to differentiate from robot to beast, but those just stay like that, I guess for the same purpose, because you've got a really heavy backpack going on here with all the wings, and the eagle needs just as much stability as the robot did. If you want to, you can keep the feet apart, and he does have quite a bit of articulation even in eagle mode, thanks to these legs being able to come out a bit. So that's up to your personal preference, which one you think looks better. And since these do bend in the back here, you can make them a little bit more stable. It's nice that the head has a lot of range and still has its left and right. So you can have him leaning forward a little bit with his head up in takeoff mode. The wings will come out all the way now. And one more little touch is taking these guns right here, and he's got holes on the sides here. So you can attach them two different ways, either this way, or you can attach them with the other peg right here, which gives him a little bit more range of motion. If the gun is just pegged in like this, he can't move much. That's about it. But here, lots of range, up, down, if you can keep it in. You can go all the way up and out, a lot more range, but I kind of like the compact look of it, just looking like that. And I think I will just attach these, because he is kind of floppy. He's wanted to do this when these are not attached. So just for stability, a cleaner look, I'm going to attach them like that. And that is DIVEBOMB in his eagle mode. That is awesome. I just love the wingspan on this guy. And here he is with his G1 self. This is taking a lot of desktop space with all this wingspan going on. And the original one had guns on his wings. This time the guns are close enough. It's nice that he still retains the double blaster barrels in eagle mode, and the original one had a little bit more range with his mouth since the head is actually hidden inside. And with the new one, as soon as you open that mouth up, peekaboo, hello, guess who? The original one is just as floppy and wants to fall in eagle mode as in robot mode. And the second comparison is the Jinbao oversized Feral Rex, which, just like all the others, is bigger in animal mode. I think this is the first comparison where I actually prefer the Power of the Primes version. I think the Power of the Primes Eagle looks better than the Feral Rex or Jinbao oversized Eagle. This one, I don't know, he just doesn't have that ferocity that the other ones have. Love the wings on this one, the individually articulated feathers, which this one does not have, but he will, thanks to an upgrade. But yeah, I think that one's better, both for just look of it and also closer homage to the G1 version. So that's Power of the Prime's Dive Bomb. Only 2 more to go before we get to the big guy. Thank you, Patreon Tribe, for your continued support. A warm welcome to new tribe members Drew Walker and Joshua McNabb. And thank you to Sean Dilk, hope I pronounced that right. Thank you very much for the extra energon, sir. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a Decepta thought in the comment spot. And to join the tribe, dive, bomb, subscribe. Nerdmas Day.